Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually, he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Third Innings. I'm Varun and I'm joined by Shayan as always. So Shayan, let's just start off with something that really annoyed both of us. Bangladesh, I don't know, either rested, dropped, benched Man Pervez, Hussain, Iman. So hopefully maybe comments can answer this better, but why did they, is it an injury? Is it a purposeful choice? And they replaced him with, forgot his name already, Saif Hassan.
Saif.
We saw his records, dude. His record isn't any good. I can't make sense of it.
Yeah, you were breaking a bit there.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if it's my end or your end there. Yeah, so we looked at Saif's record and it wasn't making any sense. I don't know why they picked him. If it was purposeful. If it's forced, I can understand a bit. But even then, I'm like, why is he in the squad with those numbers?
Yeah, no, I think I can definitely see that. And I think interestingly, his strike rotation was actually the weaker aspect of his batting, if I'm not wrong. Whenever he tried to rotate, he was not able to do it successfully. And his attacking shots did come off occasionally, but I think even those didn't come off with the efficiency that he would have liked, because ultimately what he hit 3 boundaries, 2 fours and a 6, and he faced most of the deliveries in the power play, right? So that was definitely not ideal, I thought.
Yeah, so his power play batting really pissed me off at times. I'll give him the first over because the first over was incredibly tough.
Yeah.
Fazal was bowling brilliantly. So I can
Yeah, the
give
ball
him
was
that.
moving around.
So Jared and Robbie were talking on Kimappa about the Pakistan batsers, where he's like, well, they can either dead bat or they can only slog blindly, but they can't strike rotate. That's what he reminds me of, where there's he's attacking because he thinks he has to attack. At a certain point, all he had to do was just get off strike and let Tanzid do the attacking, right? That's all he had to do. Tanzid was batting beautifully in the power play. I loved it. The high intent me loved what he did in that power play, right? Exactly what he's supposed to do. He took everyone apart. It's a brilliant power play because, as we find out later, it is a slow pitch, and on a slow pitch, we keep saying it. Take advantage of the bloody power play. Make some runs. It's only going to get harder and harder for you.
Yeah. Definitely agree with you. And I think even through the middle overs, Bangladesh batted decently. I wouldn't say they were great in the middle overs, but definitely I think up to the 14th over, the score was 114. So I think at that point 170 was definitely on, 165, 170 at least. But they actually didn't finish it too well. And in the last 6 overs, they only hit 4 boundaries and ended up making 40 runs. What were your thoughts on that period?
It was a strange batting. Because I don't think it was. They bowled well. I won't say that. The pitch also slowed down. But there was some weird batting by Bangladesh as well. I think even Tanzid, as good as he was in the power play, I do think he just knocks it about in the middle overs. For no reason. I don't get the point. It wasn't he just stops attacking after a while. I don't understand it. Again, the intent merchant in me got very annoyed. And I have to agree with my cricketing view here is anyone in the Bangladesh team could have easily made a 19 of 19 in the middle overs, right? It's he had to keep attacking. If he made, I don't know, let's say 40 of 18, would that not have helped them more in the end? I know they went relatively easily, but still.
No, I can definitely see your point there. So you're saying he struck at 100 after the power play, roughly?
What was he? I think he was 32 of 12 and he finishes on 52 of 31? So about 20 of 19, right? That is a noticeable slowdown. That's not say, and it's not like he was trying to attack and he failed. He was just knocking it about, right?
So if we actually look at his wagon wheel, so towards the long on region he makes 17 runs, and towards third man he makes 9 runs. But overall he's more onside dominant. He makes 36 of his 52 runs on the onside. So I think that's probably fair, especially for a player who was showing more higher attacking intent, specifically in the power play.
Yeah, and then I think so. We have to, I think, just talk about like the Afghan bowlers for a bit because there is nothing else to talk about for the Bangladesh batters. Everyone else was like a bit shit. I think so. It's like because I think the way I was reading, I don't know if you agree with me. It looked like a 160, 170 was par. Somewhere around there is where I looked at it. And also, as
Yeah.
Arco was pointing out, they went in with 4 overs needing to be bowled by part timers, right?
Yeah.
You and I know this. Like, I hate that already, but if you're going to do that, what you should be aiming for is 10% above par, not below par. So again, I think it's like I don't think they knew what they were trying to do at that point. It's like you had to go with that bowling. It's against a better batting lineup. They would have lost. They would have had their asses handed over to them, right? Even with Afghanistan, they took down the part time. It's like that's not a good position you want to be in, especially when your batting lineup isn't very good.
Yeah, I think completely agree with that over where Omarzai makes what 20 runs. I think that really shifted the game back in the momentum, at least back in Afghanistan's favor, and especially if Azmatullah Omarzai played a bit more, and even Rashid Khan got 20 of 11. So maybe if he carried on, who knows how this game could have ended. Ultimately, it was just 8 runs, right? And when Noor started hitting a bit at the end, so you never know how the game could have gone. And so I think definitely that was a risky move. Do you think they could have maybe bowled Nasoom at that point? Or do you think it was fair to keep him for later?
I don't mind holding him back.
They had to get the part-timer overs, as you
Yeah,
said.
they had to get. It had to be done. I honestly would have probably bowled him out just completely in the power play anyway. Just bowl 4 overs on the trot. Like I
Yeah.
don't see you might as well. I don't think you'd lose anything. Like maybe I don't think they timed the part time overs well. It had to be done almost. You almost had to do it like the 7th or 8th over in a way, right? I think it's like waiting for like the 11th or 12th over. Maybe you pushed it too much. Like I know, like India did it bowled Abhishek in the 11th over as well, like, and that was horrible usage. That is exactly what you're not supposed to do against a part timer, and what Azmat did is what you're supposed to do against a part timer. Rip them apart.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's like your one opportunity to get back on top of the game, right? And so I think that was good batting from Omarzai there to get the game back in their favor. But ultimately, it was Bangladesh who were able to pull this game back in their favor.
Yeah, so I think I just want to briefly talk about the spinners. So Rashid bowled. I thought he bowled decently enough. So something that we immediately picked this up was when Rashid got, I think, Saif's wicket. Wasim
Yeah.
Akram was very upset. He's going on a rant about it. I was like, oh, he's the best bowler. You should be just blocking, strike rotating him. It's like, why did he try to attack him? It's like, well, that's what he's supposed to do. He played a horrible innings up until that point, right? There was no usage in him playing even longer, being horrible. So it's like
Yeah, I
he
think-
had to attack. What you could make an argument is, again, I talked with Jared about this on the bad shot, is when a player plays an attacking shot, the question isn't why did he play that? It's how could he have played that better? Because it wasn't
Yeah.
a particularly great ball. Like that was a terrible shot on top of that. But I like the intent behind it. It's like if he had
Yeah.
attacked Rashid and it had come off, then Afghanistan are immediately under pressure. They lost the power play at that point, even after that horrible innings by Saif. Right?
Yeah.
If the captain is going for runs, it would have immediately put them on the back foot. The thinking is correct. The execution was horrible. What they need to be teaching him is how he can improve that execution. And I feel like commentators not noticing, understanding that pisses me off at times.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, becoming a pet peeve of ours these days. They keep talking about, attack. Whenever attacking shots fail, all the commentators, they're like, okay, why did you play that shot? But I just don't understand it. When that same shot comes off, you will be praising that exact same player. Like, you cannot have double standards like that. You have to either say, okay, the intent behind the shot was right, of course, considering up to that point, he wasn't strike rotating too well. And what are the chances that he would have done it against Rashid? As you say, he's one of the best bowlers in the world. And maybe he would have taken up even more balls. And so if he tried to attack him, maybe if that went for a 6, things could have been a lot different. So ultimately, I mean, it has to come down to, what the game situation is at that point. It's not even like they were collapsing, right? So why is a slog not on? In a T20, you are going to hit across the line. You are going to play your shots. So, I mean, why have this conservative mindset that, okay, just because it's a bit of a slow wicket, maybe it's not, completely batting friendly roads, you cannot play across the line. Like, how else are you going to score fast?
Yeah, especially as we were just talking about before, when they had already giving up runs by having like the part-timers having to bowl 4 overs. So they had to get all the runs they possibly can get, right? So
Yeah.
Arko has an interesting point. He's like, picking Mahidi wouldn't have made the shit batting any worse. Jakir was horrendous. Like, it was a weird innings by him, man. He's
Yeah.
like it was a bizarre death. The whole death over saga was just like so weird because they were very predictable with what they were doing in Afghanistan, right? They were trying to bowl slow. And they just could not, the Bangladesh batters just did not know what they were doing. It was just funny to watch that time, and then it was just frustrating because the moment Azmatul Omarzai came on for the 19th over, we were like, this has to
Yeah.
go for a 20-run over minimum, right? We have to batter him, like just hits it, and then he barely. I think it was just he bowls like a 6-run over or something. It's a horrendous. Their batting genuinely upsets me, and the funniest part of all of this is you're writing a piece talking about the batting evolution. Like, what a time to do that.
Yeah, man. I'm just getting irritated every single day watching these guys. You know, first of all, I think against Hong Kong, I just didn't understand why they had to take the game so deep. They had a decent enough power play. They could have, really pushed the game and, gone for net run rate, especially because of the group that they're in. Then again, Sri Lanka, they really chased it down very comfortably. And first 2 overs, they made no runs. Even I think, to be fair to Bangladesh, I will say that the lower order did, a decent enough rescue job, and maybe that might prove to be crucial in context of the tournament and how it shapes up. Especially if Sri Lanka managed to defeat Afghanistan, then you could say. But anyways, they lost that game, so I don't even know if it would matter. Then again, today's game, they started off well. Then middle overs was okay. They couldn't finish well. So I think they need all of their parts to come together at the same time. If that's the right way to put it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So Thrifty, I think, is answering a question. He's like, because Emon has a weakness against the spin attack, Saif was chosen for anchoring. Why the hell do you need an anchor in this batting lineup? Everyone is doing is anchoring. so
Yeah, they have batting in the middle, like in the middle order, right? Guys who can anchor. Like, for example, if you're talking about even how much has he played against Afghanistan in T20 internationals, I don't even know for sure, to be honest. Because I was looking up his numbers. I don't think he has played them a lot. Has he played them this year?
I honestly don't know because I don't think anyone else in the world has done as much research on Emon as you have. Like you were one that was telling me that he bashes spin in the power play and pace in the middle overs.
Yeah. I remember that.
They could have used some of that in this power play. I think. I honestly think they
Yeah,
could.
he hasn't played a game against them in international cricket. Maybe he's talking about some league cricket. Not so sure about that. Like, please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I liked what I saw from the starts of Emon,
Okay. So Saif Arko was saying Saif was supposed to be the basher, according to my journalist friend in Bangladesh. In what universe, Arko? Might I ask? Like either like the Bangladesh management is like delusional and in their own bubble, or your journalist friend got like mixed up the players because what was this like T20 striker do? It was like 115, wasn't it?
Yeah. And even this year, it has
Yeah.
improved a bit this year, but still 127, I think. Yeah.
So I think I was looking at his numbers in the Bangladesh Premier League. It was like 115.
Yeah,
He
same.
still has a negative true strike rate. So it's
Yeah.
like, so like it's his bad even by like accounting for the Bangladesh pitches. Right?
Yeah. Like even Emon, I think, was striking at around 10-15 runs more than him, if I'm not wrong, in the BPL this year. Yeah, as Arko says, a strike rate of 119 in the BPL. So not sure why.
Yes.
And if maybe it was because of his bowling, but then his bowling also, like, it almost cost them this game. So not sure about that, honestly. I think the only fair reason would be if there was an injury or something along those lines. Then I think it's reasonable to not want to take a chance. But otherwise, it was something that was sort of working for them, I would say, this year, because if you go back and look at their opening numbers from last year, back in 2024, they were really bad. Like, they were horrible. Their top 3 numbers, in fact. And this year, that has improved a bit for them. So, and Tanzid has been a part of that. Litton has improved. And Emon, also batting fast. I think that has also helped. So, I don't know, man.
No, like if it's an injury, like the question I have is why is he in the squad in the first place? Like his numbers shouldn't have warranted him in the spots. Like forget the 11 he shouldn't be in the 15 or 17. Like he's just.
Do you think
he's
they
just
could
a-
have had Mohammad Naeem?
No, he's even worse.
Or is
isn't
he also in
Like
the squad already?
Is he?
But
Sorry,
his
like,
BPL numbers are good though.
are they good? Because I think Jared and Baram talked about him in the right arm bashers piece, right? where he's like, he's horrible. So he's horrible.
Dude, that
versus
piece was
everything
2
in
years old. Lots of things have
Yeah.
changed since then.
It's
Even
crazy. If
Nisanka
he is
was like
improved,
this.
I missed it. If he improved, fair
So
enough.
I don't know if he has improved. I've not tracked his improvement as such, but when I looked up most runs in the BPL this season, he made the most runs at at an average of 43 and a strike rate of 144. So I think that's pretty good.
Fair enough. If he's improved, I have fair play to him. Like that's what we want.
But
from
we
him,
need to
right?
see if he's in the squad though. Is he in the squad? Nine. No, I can't see him in the squad. No, that is weird.
No.
Maybe his
he's
international
not.
record hasn't been good. I think that's one fair way to look at it.
Yeah, I think that's.
He's
fair.
only played.
So,
No, he has played a bit. Yeah, for international cricket, he's not done well. Hmm.
So, like, what was I gonna ask you? I forgot what I was gonna ask you. So yeah, let's just talk about the other bowlers for a while. We've talked about Nassim Ahmed. I thought he was fantastic in he came in for this game. He was brilliant. I thought Rashad Hussain and Mustafizur Rahman were also brilliant, right? They did everything that's asked of him. Like Tuscan, I still don't think is in complete rhythm yet. He looks a bit meh. But the other three, like I cannot fault in Fiz, Rashad, and Nassim Ahmed. That's all, right?
No, I think that's fair. And, I think they also use Fizz pretty well. Like, they give him 1 over in the power play, and then later on, they use him through the middle and death overs. So, definitely very important, I think, his performance with the ball. I thought Nasoom was probably their most important bowler because he completely kept, Zadran on a, like, Zadran was just not able to get him away at all. I think he might have scored like 0 of 5 or 6 balls or something like that because he was trying to rotate and even that was not happening. And ultimately, and he was very accurate. Like, I think there was a graphic that they showed on Sony Live that 7 of his deliveries were on the stumps during the power play. 7 were just outside off and 4 were like down. So that was a pretty good, combination to have in the power play. And I think it was that spell. And then, of course, as you mentioned, even Rishad was also a good one. So I think those two spinners performing the way they did definitely played a crucial part. And then, as you mentioned, the seamers, the Tuscan, I think he also bowled pretty well early on. And of course, Mustafizur, he's one of their best T20 bowlers.
So let's just briefly talk about some issues that are probably creeping up in the Afghanistan batting lineup. So both Darth Vader and Nikhil have a similar question where they're like, do Afghanistan not have enough specialists in the team? I think that's a fair question. There's a lot of all-rounders. And we always talk about it. There's the risk of playing too many all-rounders. Usually all-rounders are quite limited in the batting potential or bowling potential. And you can see there are times where they're like, you needed someone, they needed to be some specialists in there, right?
You're right about that, I think, completely. And so how many does Kareem Jannat make? So he's made 6 of 8. And with the ball, he's bowled. Well, he's not bowled. So, okay. I don't really see a point in, then why can't they go for a specialist instead of him? You're right about that completely.
And
But what are their other options? I think that is the question we have to ask.
That's a good question. So who did they actually have in the squad? So I believe the backup batter is Darvish Rasuli. I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, I think they actually played him in the Tri Series.
Yeah,
the UAE
so
Tri
he's not
Series
horrible.
that was happening.
So
They could have gone with him, I think.
The problem I think with Afghanistan is they have no batting for some reason. So it's like everyone, they either keep producing spinners or just all-rounders. They just don't. I don't think they just naturally don't produce a lot of specialist batters, which kind of makes sense considering I don't think they're completely professional yet in the setup.
No, I think I can see that. And even their top order batters, I think, especially with Gurbaz, I think he's a good player. Of course, we all know that. And he has been at the IPL as well. It's not that he's not a talented player, but I think his recent form has not been that great.
Yeah.
So I think that plays a part. And Sadran. So I think this is a theory of mine of sorts that I think anchors are usually better for chases. Like we've seen with Kohli, KL and all these guys. Usually you see that when they have a set target in front, even Nisanka recently now, like when these guys have a 160, 170 target, you know that they're going to get the job done more often than not. But I just don't understand why this Afghanistan team cannot chase because they also have a very solid top 3 who, when you go and look back at their first innings records, they do fine. Like they're very good at getting to 80 for 2 in 10 overs, that sort of stuff. But what happens to them in chases? I think that's interesting because now they've lost 2 chases against teams on their level. So they lost to Pakistan in the Tri-Series final while chasing and now they lost again today while chasing. So I think that also requires a bit of a deeper dive, don't you think?
Yeah, it is very strange that a team's built on anchors can't chase. So it's like,
Yeah.
like the other thing is I can't remember who talks about it. Maybe Jared was mentioning is, do we actually know if anchors are better at chasing, or do we just think as Virat just whopped our brains?
That's what even I was saying. Like, it's just a theory
Because
of mine.
Shubman
I
Gill
haven't
is
done
an
any
anchor.
numbers.
Shubman Gill is better in the first innings, right?
Yeah, Gill is, I think, a bit of a different case. But
Yeah.
my theory is just that, or maybe it could be warped by Virat or KL or these guys. But it's just even I think Dhawan is another good one who's when I was looking up the IPL chasing numbers, he was also pretty decent on those. He's often getting the job done. At least in winning chases, I think he had a pretty good record. Warner is another one, of course, at a higher level. Butler, I think maybe we are just perceiving it like based on these guys, but it does seem to make sense on paper that someone who bats within themselves knows how to pace a chase. Like when the target is not specifically high, so you don't even need to go all guns blazing. You just need to take a few chances here and there. As they say, calculated risks. They knew what the job exactly was. They knew which bowlers they could target, and especially with Bangladesh leaving that part timer option open, it wasn't an impossible ask. I think definitely, but just not being able to rotate the ball off the square, I think that was definitely a bit disappointing from me. Especially I think because Zadran is a very good ODI player, and so if he is able to do things pretty well in ODI cricket, I'm not so sure why it hasn't translated that well in T20s yet. I mean, of course, different formats and everything, but still, you do expect him to be, maybe at, say 80 to 90% of what Nisanka is, maybe because he is also what 24, 25 years old. He also has a good solid ODI game. You would expect him to be able to, get those 55 or 40 ball type scores in chases at least.
So I think Zadran was showing a bit of an upward curve in the Tri Series. I think he gets back-to-back 50s. But I think him and Sadiqullah
Both were batting first, no?
Yeah, I think so. That because I don't think
Yeah,
they
I think
chased that
both were
well,
batting
that's all.
first. Because they
Yeah.
were batting first
Yeah.
pretty well, but chasing they were not great.
So like that's the other thing. If this Afghan batting lineup is built on the openers getting them to 100 for one in 14
Yeah.
overs, and everyone else plays 5 or 6 balls and gets quick runs, and if one of the main
Exactly.
openers is not in any form whatsoever, that is you're seriously putting yourself in a tough situation where your bowlers have to perform at that point. Here's the thing though, I actually think the bowling was quite good for them in the end, right? Because Fazal was quite unlucky today, I thought. But they still, because 153 is a below par score on this pitch, from whatever we've seen today, and they comfortably lost in the end. Even though I think 8 runs looks a bit close, like the game was done with like by the last over. I think like it's like you knew they weren't.
Yeah, I
gonna
think
win
once
at that
Rashid
point.
got out, the game was over, practically speaking.
I'm
Still,
surprised
he was
it went
there,
as long as it did.
Yeah. I think especially not a lot of people would have expected that, I think Rashid can bat, of course, we all know that, but he took it to the point where it seemed like a very realistic possibility. I think not a lot of people would have expected that considering how the game was going up till then. And so, I mean, ultimately, Rashid is what a number 8 batter, right? And he's a good number 8, I would say, but he's not an all-rounder. So, he got a few runs. He probably gave them a chance. Maybe Omar Zai, if he carried on, things could have been different. They got him with a slower ball, by the way. That was also good, solid work by Taskin there. He also had a good game, as we said.
That's fair. So, what was I going to say? Hear me out. Rashid Khan is a kamikaze opener. They might as well. They need some intent earlier.
So, you were just shooting random names. Now, that day you were saying Shaheen should open for Pakistan. Now you're saying...
See, that I was joking. With Rashid, I'm half serious and I'm half joking with this because I'm like, they need some intent in the power play, dude. It's like, and Rashid's batting, I think, is wasted at number 8. I think Rob Barron and Jared Kimber have been saying this for years as well. They're like, why aren't you using him as like a pinch hitter at 3 or something?
Maybe they can try that, Now that you're saying it, I will probably think about that as well because I'm supposed to write this piece on Afghanistan as well. And I've not been very happy with how they've played this tournament, I would say. Like, how would I put it, man?
Sorry? I just cut out.
I have not been very happy with how Afghanistan have played in this tournament as well. So, I mean, I don't know what's the best way to put it, but, the first game... So, today I think they could have chased this game. They should have been able to chase this total for sure. And in the first game also, like, it's not good enough, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think both fan bases will be very upset with us because we've said both teams stuck today and no one deserved to win. But it was a good game in the end. It was a good,
it was a good entertaining game for sure.
So we'll just answer Sandeep's question. If Afghanistan has ever to become the second best Asian team, Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, who will be the bigger lasting challenge? Considering they also lost a tri-series to Pakistan, I'd throw them in there. I honestly could not confidently tell you the ranking between 5 to 10 in world cricket.
Yeah, I think it's a bit confusing. I think
Sorry, I
probably
meant
Sri
6 to
Lanka
10.
seem like the second best team right now, considering they have a good bowling attack, and then the way Pathum Nissanka is playing, he might like their bowling and Nissanka alone might just propel them to the second best team in Asia at the moment. And see, for Afghanistan, I think, see, at least with Hong Kong, they won that game comfortably. I think, unlike Bangladesh, who took their time and everything, I think that's probably fair. That game just like, I even did the live, but I just completely forgot that game. But even if we go back and look at that game, it was Omar Zai who played that great innings, didn't he? Like towards the end.
Yes.
It wasn't like high intent up top, if we go back and look at what happened in that match. And actually, I think who was the one? Yeah, Gurbaz got out trying to play an attacking shot, but I think eventually it was the Hong Kong bowlers who were able to pull it back. And for the longest time, even in that game, I think it was Behram who kept tracking that. Okay, how much can they make? How much can Hong Kong chase? Like at what point? But I think after Omar Zai played the innings that he did, like it was just over. And of course, even Sadiqullah Atal, I think he had a good knock. But I think that's with Afghanistan. I think that their top order probably needs to either score faster or be more consistent in chases. That I think will be able to help them with the win-loss record to some extent. And now let's see what happens. Can they defeat Sri Lanka? Who knows? Like this tournament is a bit exciting now, I think.
Yeah, so I was about to say about Sri Lanka. I don't know if they're the second best or if it's just Asia Cup Sri Lanka. Because Asia Cup Sri Lanka and Sri Lanka everywhere else is completely different. So it's like it's like every time, like I don't know if Sri Lanka are good or they just constantly turn up in Asia Cups. I think someone on Reddit was saying they're like the Australia of Asia Cups.
Yeah, I think they are the second most successful team, and they have a lot more Asia Cups than Pakistan actually. They're like at 6 or something, and Pakistan have only surprisingly won 2, considering their history and
both
everything.
of them in the
Only 2 Asia
2000s.
Yeah. The era that you don't rate as highly, surprisingly.
Indeed.
No, they
It's
actually won in
weird.
2012, didn't they? 2012 they won.
Sorry, I meant post 2000. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, post 2000, correct.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure to bookmark goodareas.co. It's the one-stop shop for everything Good Areas. And we'll see you tomorrow. I actually don't know if we will see you tomorrow. It depends on the game and depends on the availability. But yeah, we'll see you guys later. Have a good evening and bye.
I once made a pair in a club game, which is almost impossible to do. But I've been obsessed with batting my entire life. And so I put that into my new book, The Art of Batting. Being that I'm not very good at that skill, I decided to talk to other people who were. So I hit up as many contacts as I could just to talk about batting. Raul Dravid, Brian Lara, A.B. de Villiers, Kumar Sangakkara, Ross Taylor, Susie Bates, Nasser Hussain, Ian Chappell, and so many, many, many more. I wanted batters to talk about how they and their friends made runs, because that is the art of batting.